virtually and such. So I'll get us started here, and by the time I finish, hopefully we'll have everybody jumped in with us. So I'm Lisa Rice, and I am a former Workforce Board Director CEO. So if I start to talk at any point in time with acronyms and you guys are like, what the heck, please put it into chat and we'll make sure that we clarify that we're blessed with the fact that we are doing these 30 minutes of excellence every month. This is coming to you through the Center of Excellence work that was awarded to Softful Partners, who I am contracted to work for. And so today we get the wonderful pleasure of really showing you guys some really cool information from FutureWorks Systems. They have freebie stuff. As a workforce system, we all love freebie stuff, okay? They also have license stuff. So if you want to cough up the license fee, that's cool too. But we're going to look at your freebie stuff today so you can get an idea of what's available for you out there today. And we have Geoff and Ken, I believe, correct, are my two presenters that are going to tell you all about this. I don't want to take away from them because there's probably a ton to tell in here. If you have questions, please throw it into the chat. We'll try to make sure that they get a chance to answer. If we don't during this session, we will answer it later on for you guys. All right. So with that, Geoff, am I to turn it over to you first? Does that sound good? Awesome. Thank you, Geoff.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for being here today. This is an exciting opportunity for us to tell you a little bit about what we do and also share with you our WIOA Dashboard site, which is a pretty exciting thing that we put together that really opens up WIOA data to really the world. And we're really excited about what it can do. And I think you'll be excited about the kinds of things that you'll be able to discover in the data that we're able to put in front of you. So with that, I'm going to go off camera so I save my bandwidth, because I know that sometimes things don't like the bandwidth with the video. So, but you got to see me, so you know the voice behind, or the face behind the voice. So on the screen, you see I've got the WIOAdashboard.org address up. That's the address to get to the WIOA Dashboard site. You certainly can go to that site from our website at futureworksystems.com. So there's several pathways to get there. If you actually Google WIOA Dashboard, you should see it as the #1 thing to click up there. So it's an easy way to get to this application. So before we jump into that, let me kind of orient you to who we are, what we do. I'm going to do this very quickly so we can really get into the meat of why we're here. You know, at FutureWorks, the key thing that we do is we make WIOA data easy to access and explore. And the reason we do that is to inform program and policy decisions. It's that simple. Why do we do it? Well, states and workforce boards have a real difficult time to effectively and efficiently getting access to the data to collect. That's the big challenge. Where do we do it? We do it across state and local boards all over the country. You can see the list there. We also do it for folks like promotion associations like, you know, NAWDP, NAWDP, et cetera, and even service providers. So anyone that has a real vested interest in understanding what's going on under the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act and what they can discover within that data that's being collected and sent up to DOL, that's our business. That's exactly what we're focused on delivering, is giving anyone that needs that kind of access to get insight into that data. That's what we're here to do. How do we do that? Well, you're going to see some of that today with the WIOA Dashboard site, but it's all about simplifying that data access and utility of that data. And we do that through business intelligence applications. And we also combine that with expert support and technical assistance. Those two elements are key. The support and technical assistance part is very critical because building that subject matter expertise around all that data is a real critical component in order to extract information from that can really help drive those decisions. So it's a critical component to how we do it. Now, on the technical end, or on the kind of, I guess we'll call it the technical end, we really take this raw data that's being collected in the workforce system. I think everybody on the call probably has heard the word PIRL, the participant individual record layout file that heads up to DOL from those state case management systems. Well, we take that raw data and really transform that data into a business intelligence solution. So there's a lot of stuff that happens in between in that arrow there, but the bottom line is that we're taking that raw stuff, making use of that, getting it into a framework that's usable, that anyone with limited technical capabilities can go in there and draw information from that data. We take data from case management systems in that PIRL file, but we also leverage the PIRL data file that is available from USDOL. That's the national quarterly data file that that is all the state data, right, wrapped into one single file, put up there on their website for anyone to publicly access and make use of. We happen to be one of those people that grab that file and make use of it. And that's the data set that we're going to work with today and see in the WIOA dashboard site. So that's what we're going to be playing with today. What does this all mean? It really means that anyone can get access to this information to track in detail participant services, characteristics, and outcomes. And that's the bottom line, is to quickly and intuitively get to that level and explore that data. So that's what we're going to be able to do. So on the WIOA dashboard site, this is really opening up to the world, and we're using that quarterly public national PIRL data set from DOL. When we get to this, the dashboard, I'll point out some of these source references so you know exactly where to get more details about what that data file is all about, how it's put together, etc. With that data set, we can drill to the national, state, even a region, a workforce board level. So we can really get down to all sorts of different levels of data exploration. The regional one is very interesting, and we'll demonstrate that when we get to the dashboard, because I know a lot of boards, are teamed up with other boards and defined as a region within a state, and being able to look at data in through that kind of lens is very important. So it's really nice to be able to do that and leverage an application's capability to deliver that kind of data, or that kind of lens on the data when you're doing your exploration. This is free. The WIOA dashboard site is absolutely open to anyone, and I encourage you to share this with your colleagues and really anyone that has a vested interest in understanding what's going on under this act. So it's open. Should be easy for them to use. We're going to show how easy it is and the resources that are available to make it easy too. And really, this is an opportunity for us to really introduce what we do, certainly, but it's also a way to introduce people to the concept of being able to access this data in an easy and powerful way. Most people out there have a hard time getting access to the data with this kind of ease. So in the data set, what's important, what I want to highlight, because we're going to play with really only 4 quarters of the data in the data set. You can see these green boxes here. In the national quarterly PIRL file that we pulled down from DOL, there's really 10 quarters of participant records available in there, because in those records is how we're calculating outcomes, etc. Right? So there's that lag with those outcomes. So we have all this data for these participants, but the data that we're looking at in the dashboard is just these most recent 4 quarters, and it's from it's really all of program year 20. So from 7/1 of 20 to 6/30 of 21 is what we're going to be looking at, that time period in the dashboard. So let's head over to the dashboard. There we go. Does anybody have any questions? Well, I don't see anything up there yet. Not in chat. Okay. So I'm on the WIOA dashboard site, and the current dashboard that we have available right now, and the intent is that we'll probably have several come up here over time, but the current one right now is about exploring the served participants. So we're not going to be looking at outcomes. We're really going to be looking at during that program year 20 period, just the served participant group, actually. And you can see the data status here is right up here in this banner that popped up. The DOL just released the program year 20 quarter 4 data set, and it's a rolling 4-quarter period. So that means that the 4 quarters in that data set is really that complete program year 20. So Q1 through Q4. So it's really nice that we've got actually a full program here to look at. Next, the next update when we get into program year 21 Q1 will lose the first quarter of PY20. So we'll just roll those 4 quarters forward. That's how it'll work. All right, so let's drive over here to the dashboard. Get it loaded up here. All right. So right at the top, you see we've got our title of the dashboard. We get a subtitle here. It references the fact that we're dealing with Title I and Title III participants. That's what's in this particular data file. The source reference here, the National Public PIRL, this will take you right over to DOL's performance or results page. On that page, you'll see where that data set is actually available for download. And you can see that the time frame that we're talking about in this data set. Down below are several links, and these links will take you to all sorts of different things. The introduction is an introduction video. I encourage you to watch it. It's only about 7 minutes long, but it really will give you a good overview orientation of the dashboard, and even give you some kind of hints on the kinds of things that you can do right out of the gate. So just watching that really can give you a good start. The how-tos are a little bit more detailed videos, getting into some of the things like filtering, sorting, changing dimensions, even the advanced features, which I would encourage you to also watch and browse through those. It's going to be very, very helpful. Certainly terminology is key, right? When you're making something like this available to the world, you really should define some of these terms that are bantered around under WIOA. And so you can see here the terminology page, and this actually can get printed out, which is helpful. In addition, you can sign up for a data alert. So as we get, as DOL releases data, we'll take that data down, we'll update the dashboard, and we will notify people when that event has occurred, or if we publish new dashboards, we'll certainly make everybody aware of that too. And then the performance indicator timing chart, this is an important resource. It's very popular through our client base, even outside. We make this publicly available on our website, but this is a very, very popular resource because, as everybody probably is familiar with, the timing of the indicators, what exit cohorts are impacting, when are they counted, or when are we looking for a success, and when are we reporting out that success? So as I mouse over a cell, I see an exit cohort, and in that yellow box, that's when I'm looking for whether they were a success, and then that green box is telling me the quarter in which that was being reported out. So you can see how it's color coded for PY20. So this is the time frame that we're looking at today, and we're looking at served participants between this time frame. But you can see that 10 quarters that I was referring to in that national data set. You can see how we're getting those 10 quarters. You can see those green boxes are those exit cohorts that we're talking about when we look at those measures. There's also links to the actual definitions here too, so that can be pretty helpful. Those are tied directly to information that's found in the TGL. So that can be helpful. The dashboard has 3 really key visualization objects. This one right up here where it has a donut chart, it's showing us the total served participants for the entire country. So here's my location selection up here. I can filter by state, I can filter by down to a local workforce board level. So there's or a combination, and that's that regional thing I had mentioned earlier. So I'm not going to make a selection yet. I'm going to leave it at all. But what I can do in looking at this one right here, I can see that I had 19 million served, and how that breaks down by reportables and those that receive staff assistance or participants. You can see how that breaks down. So I've got 2.6 million that were participants. Now, bar chart, not the bar chart, the donut chart reflects that over here. And as I mouse over chart objects, like I'm sure most of you have experienced some kind of dashboard in your particularly through COVID with all the dashboards that have come out by the states, but mousing over any chart object is going to give you a tooltip with some more detailed information. The visualization to the right is really just a time series. It uses bars and lines, and you can see that the bar represents the number of served participants. So I'm looking at just the participant group now. So out of that 2.6 million, I can see how that's breaking down across the different quarters, the 4 quarters in this data set. And you can see my legend up here shows me that the green is looking at the enrollments, new enrollments during that time period. those that exited during that time period. And you can see, obviously, my green represents the number served. So the bottom one, the big one down here, this big bar chart down here, is also looking at participants. So it's just looking at that 2.6 million participants across right now all of the states. And you see I have controls over here to the right. And these controls over here to the right will impact just this visualization object here. These two visualization objects will respond to filtering by location, and also if I filter by a particular time. When I open up the filters, you can see that I've got a lot of choices. So that PIRL file, that PIRL data contains a lot of information. We've taken some pieces of those data elements, some of those data elements, and put them into this dashboard. And they're organized as follows. We have career services and training type of data elements. So here is an example, I wanted to look, isolate those that received training. I can do that. Or maybe I want to see it by a type of training. I can do that. Or maybe it's a combination of things, right? So characteristics, same kind of thing. You see the options here. And then I also have the ability to isolate by a particular funding stream. So with Title I and Title III data in here, you can imagine maybe I'd like to isolate just looking at Title III. I can do that, or isolate just looking at Title I, or maybe a subset within Title I. So filtering is very powerful, and we can do that. And that will impact those filters, with the exception of the date and location, will impact just this one, whereas date and location will impact all three. So as an example, let's go ahead and filter by, let's just say we want to look at the country by veteran. So let's just see how service by veteran. So you'll note that you'll find a filter value here. As I've applied a filter, it's reflected here. You saw my bar chart made a little bit of a jump there. I can use some of the controls in the dashboard. There's right-click controls. That advanced video that I referenced in the how-to section can come in real handy to watch, because I go into detail on what these right-click functions allow you to do. But as an example, if I just hit sort, I'm just going to sort on the served metric here. And now I've just organized this bar chart to make it a little bit easier for us to kind of, read. Now, looking at this bar chart, I'm going to mouse over one of these marks, and I can see here in Texas that I've got 27,000 that were served, just a little bit north of 27,000. And the percent of the total in the country, they represent 18.16%. And the days staff assisted exiters is a metric that we have where we take the exiter cohort and we're looking at it's the average number of days they spent in the program. And it shows here at 35.6. And the color coding of the bar chart reflects that days, that average number of days. So the darker I see, like here in Ohio, right, 503 versus, right here in Texas where we only had our 35. And we're looking at just veterans. So the ability to be able to apply filters, we can even stack them. So I can say, oh, for veterans, I wonder how many were registered apprenticeship.
So Geoff,
yeah,
I actually have a request for you. Can you go to local area 3 in Kansas?
Oh.
And we have someone on here from Kansas who jumped in quick and said, yes, she would love to see her information. So if we could go to theirs, and I just kind of want to make it real for a few people on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not that it wasn't real with Texas. I mean, I don't mean to kick Texas out.
No. That's
Geoff,
actually,
maybe rotate into trained and ONET trained and then go to that board.
Yes. Okay. But let me do something. Let me go do something first really quick. So I'll take this where I have registered apprentice veterans, right? I've got Kansas, I've got a decent number here.
Look at this.
I'm just going to do this to just keep Kansas.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to see 3. It's all right. Now we get this huge bar, right? Just got Kansas isolated. Now note, things changed here. See my filter for Kansas, right? Okay. So we see the self-serve, the participant counts, right? Now I'm going to open up Kansas. Now I'm at the board level. So number 3, This comes to us in the national data. So this is how the names come to us. So I'm not
Okay.
sure which one 3 is.
So Keely, if you want to go off mic, you should be able to unmute yourself and tell us which one is 3.
Thank you. We're Workforce Partnership is local area 3.
Workforce Partnership, that's you.
There you go.
So we've got 5 RAs, veteran RAs, but let's just wipe these guys out here. Let's just reset it back to we'll reset these back to let me take veteran out.
Just everybody.
Yep. We'll just look at
Okay.
everybody. There we go. And now I'll open up Kansas again. There, quite easily.
There we go.
Now taking it, I can take it to the next level, which is certainly I can filter, I can keep filtering, right? I have all whatever filters I want to apply, I can apply at this point. I've isolated a particular location and I can apply more filters.
Go to the grid for a second too, Jack.
Oh, all right. Let me go to the grid.
Some people like grids.
Yeah, that's true. Some people like
People
grids
do.
rather than
Yeah.
bars.
So
Yeah,
here's
that's
the
cool.
hard data. Served days, the actual days in for the staff assisted.
Cool.
And again, we're looking at, these are all
And-
titles, I guess, right? We could filter by Title I, adult, youth.
Right. Right.
So
You can-
let's stay with this one. Could you filter it with apprentices?
Well, there are 2 ways to filter apprentice. One is just registered apprenticeship before or after, before they came in or during,
Mhm.
or is it training under the type of training? There are 2 ways to look at it,
Can we do it both ways at the
Sure.
same time?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I mean, I figure
Now,
we may as well
he's
cover
looking at,
all the
reg-
bases.
now he's looking at those that are registered, I'm sorry, those that receive training using Title I dollars, registered apprenticeship. So open up Kansas again, Jeff.
Mhm.
And there you have it. Workforce 1, served 95. Those are the
So-
days in of the people who exited the prior year.
So when they're saying, for instance, Kansas Workforce 1 served 95 people in that apprenticeship training definition,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Right.
So, and I have to pull apprenticeship, you guys, because we're the center of excellence for apprenticeship. So
Right.
sorry.
No problem.
But I
No,
mean,
not
this
at
can
all.
show
No
you so
problem.
many other things, obviously, when you break it down. But again, this is free.
Yep.
This isn't like you have to go and pay for a license to be able to drill to this, correct, guys?
Correct.
Don't let
Got
me
it.
misstate.
Nope.
That's exactly right. And yeah, anyone
Okay.
can go in here and experiment. So
Cool.
just as an example, so we were just looking at registered apprenticeship. You want to see how that stacks up with the other training types, right? That are available.
Oh, that'd be great.
I can just go here, and this is where the same kind of filters that I had available to me, those are referred to as data dimensions, right? So we can use data dimensions to either filter some block of data, right? Or we can slice it, right? And so that's what we're going to do here. So I can take that type, it's right down here. I take type of training service. And
Go to the whole
the
country.
definitions are here.
Yeah, go to the whole country.
Well, I'll go to the whole country, but what I say is I just what I'm showing, we're since we're on the Kansas theme.
Yeah, we're on a
Okay. Yeah,
Kansas theme.
I want to stay in Kansas for a moment. I'll fly out of Kansas in a second, but I'm in Kansas right now, and I just swapped out, and I'm now looking at the served across that. There's my apprentice number, right? That we just saw in the filter, but now I've rotated the dimension in of which that was a part of, and now I see the other day
So you
types of
can
training.
Yeah, see where you were using the training on, how many, which a lot of it is, we're seeing here, no training. Yeah, okay, that makes sense, or doing some occupational skills. But then I love that registered apprenticeship is right up in there, so that's very cool, you guys. So
Yeah.
That's true of Kansas, but look at the whole country for a second. You can
Yeah.
see how
yeah, let's take a look at, excellent. thing. While he's going to the whole nation, I have a question from the chat from John, who's asking if the numbers on this dashboard will match the rolling 4 PY 2020 Q4 WIPS reports that are at the state and the local level.
In terms of served, it will. Yes.
Should, right? Because
Yes, the served numbers.
The served numbers, yeah.
Again,
Okay.
the outcomes are not here.
Okay.
You know, as part of the WIPs, that's our, you know, it's a subscription based,
Right.
gives you the outcomes.
And then Bonnie has a question here too for us about, you know, do we have access to real-time data? It's showing the data at the present moment. I so freaking wish we could get there.
Our monthly clients, the 9 states that we do have, we get data monthly and they look at this monthly. So they can tell new enrollments, you know, by registered apprenticeship, exiters in program.
So I guess it would depend, Bonnie, on if you're in one of those states where they have that contract and they're doing that on a monthly basis. There should be a way for you to be able to see that then through the states. But excellent question about that. All right, so now tell us what we're looking at here now, Geoff. We're looking at nationally, correct?
So, yeah, so I'm looking at nationally. So the type of training, right? We had looked at Kansas. Right.
Yep.
I do know where since we're on the RA kick too.
Yep, we're on an RA kick.
Yeah. Okay. And I want to go back there to it because I know in my state this is kind of interesting. So just do Arizona here.
Oh, I just talked with some Arizona people.
Yeah, I'm just impressed with what's going on here. So anyway, so you see the RA numbers here, right?
Yep.
For Arizona. What I find interesting is I start looking at the board level or region level, and for those of you in Arizona, if you're in Arizona, there's always a big battle between the southern and the northern part of the state, right? But so the northern part of the state, Maricopa County and the city of Phoenix, actually, watch what happens here. Okay, so you see the RA number at 683. It went from 7 something to 683.
Yeah,
they have a huge number going on up there. But if I go down here and I just isolate that region, if I go down here and I pick my county, because I'm curious, because I know we're pretty heavy into. We got one of our community colleges, one of the really active ones in the country that shows in the data. But you see down here, our RAs are really low. But it's interesting how the state has broken it up in kind of different strategies. So it's anyway.
And Geoff, I have to thank you so much. I don't know how the heck you did this, but you've just primed us. We haven't talked before this. He just primed us for March's 30 Minutes of Excellence, where Maricopa County is going to be one of our guest speakers.
Oh, really?
I would. Yeah.
I'm like, thank you, Geoff.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it really shows when you do. Let's just leverage the dashboard a little bit. So I'm just going to get location back up on here. Okay, and I'm still looking. I don't have any filters applied right now. I'm just gonna let's just apply it by. I'll just do the RA.
Yeah, do registered apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now watch. This is interesting. I'll show you something even better. So, okay. You guys, I know a lot of people like tabular data. This is kind of crazy. I can see Florida, Arizona up top. They represent almost 50% of the served number in RAs, right? But if I go to the visualization, it really stands out here in a big way.
Yeah.
But what's really neat is I can, bar charts. But bar charts fun, but I'm kind of privy to something that really helps. So keep in mind the color coding is that average days, but look at, I can see the numbers, kind of the size of the box represents the quantity, right? So it really jumps out at me, and the ability to do, look into Arizona a little bit. You can see Maricopa clearly is the winner.
Yep.
So you can really do some cool stuff in the application.
So would you mind hitting Missouri for me over there? On that,
yeah,
right,
sure.
right where you were. That was cool.
Oh, my bad. Okay,
that's all right.
Easy enough to switch.
Because we also have Rachel, who's with the state in Missouri, and I'm sure that she would love to be able to see this kind of information here.
Missouri has our monthly data.
Ooh, special.
Yeah, Missouri can see this. So here's just Missouri. So I just isolated Missouri. I'll just open Missouri up. There we go.
Cool.
So
and so there again, you can easily see who's, bigger boxes
Yep.
are the ones that are doing more.
And you have all those other filters. So if you want to look at it by age or, low income or whatever, you have that capability. It's really fascinating to be able to use something like this to, let me just get back to the original, the bar chart, to use something like this. Let's go to all, to really pose, you can pose a lot of questions, right? I mean, familiarizing yourself with the terminology section will help orient you to the data elements that we're using, right? These data dimensions that are available, right? That should help prime some of the lines of inquiry. For example, let's just say, I wonder where these people came from.
Yeah.
Right. What sector did they come from? Pre-participation. So I'm just going to rotate. Now I'm still filtering by the RAs, right? So, and I'm looking at the country, right?
Yep.
So I'm only looking at 3,641 participants served as RAs, but this is the sector that they came to us prior to participation. So you can see construction.
Oh, that's cool.
The way. So I can, eliminate the RA, just clear out RA. So I'm looking at the entire population. That's pretty telling because we are talking about a pandemic period.
Right.
Right. A lot of NAs at the national level, but I can see how it kind of breaks down here across. And then if I'm able to isolate, my particular location of interest, I can, or leverage the filters to focus in on a particular, subpopulation of people, I can. But in these kinds of data elements, you also have that ability to, I'm going to get rid of the NA, so it's kind of gets it out of the way. My bar chart can, there we go. I can expand, these things to get down to more detailed level because they're multi-tiered, they're hierarchical data elements in the data. So, industry sector data that's in here. So the NAICS stuff is in here, and the ONET,
ONET trained
people are training in, I'll just cycle that one in.
Oh my gosh.
So in Arizona, where were they getting training? Let's just isolate those that receive training because we're looking at everybody right now. So in Arizona, it looks like transportation, construction, right? Actually, and this is where the RAs are. I know that, electricians.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, you can just open it up to actually find that. But I know
To see where they're getting the
see.
training. That's
Exactly.
awesome.
And we know these are RAs because I can filter by that. I just happen to know that because I remember that. But
that's awesome.
In
Jeff,
any event, I think you guys get the idea.
Jeff, I hate to tell you, but we're already 3 minutes over. I don't know about you guys, but this has been the fastest 30 minutes I've ever seen in my life. Okay. But I want to see if there's anything else that you want to say real quick that, maybe we left off. And I do have one other question for you, but let's see if you have something else you want to put in here. You want to say to us?
There's really not much else to say other than, visit this dashboard and have some fun with it. And I think my caveat is two things. Definitely pay attention to the about WIOA national data, this page, because it references the stuff that is, there's documentation over how this data has been put together. And it's important that you take time to at least digest that. But certainly going in there and doing, paying attention to the resources we make available to help get you properly oriented. You can go on a tear here as we've done. You can see, we just freely explored and we learned a lot just freely exploring. But you can imagine if you start coming in here with some questions, some specific questions, that can really lead you into some really fun exploration and discovery.
Yeah. So we have one question that's saying, will we be able to pull data that's not related to WIOA? For instance, we have someone who's doing apprenticeship grants and they're reporting the information into PIRL. So if they're reporting it into PIRL, it should be showing in here, correct? Or not?
They're co-enrolled in Title III, Wagner Pisa.
Right.
So if a grantee is because I know we have like Closing the Skills Gap grantees who are H-1B funded and such, and they still have to report their information up to the nation through PIRL, but they're not necessarily WIOA participants in any way. I think they would still show in here because you're pulling all PIRL data, right?
We're pulling the PIRL data that's Title 1 and 3 that ETA releases. I'm not sure. Maria would know.
Okay, so this is one that we probably need to follow up on, and we'll try to dig down to get that answer for you guys as well. We had another question, and I'm sorry, Paul, I actually don't understand this acronym. You asked, are the JCC included with the states or region data? And I don't know what.
Center.
Okay.
Oh,
No,
no, they're not.
Oh,
Thank you.
Well, what does that mean? They're not, because if they're reporting WIOA participants, then they are.
DOL data.
Yeah.
They exclude that piece of information in the national
if
data
they're
set.
co-enrolled in Title 1, there's a small number in Job Corps, but
Very small.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So only if they're only if they're Job Corps, only if they're co-enrolled. But as long as they're co-enrolled, because I know we used to co-enroll Job Corps youth all the time into our youth programs. So yeah,
just like
Thank
TAA is co-enrolled as dislocated workers. Yeah,
absolutely.
So they're in here. You know.
We also have a request to send out a presentation. The thing is that this is all live. So there's really not a presentation to send to you guys.
There's a recording, I guess.
Yeah, there is this recording, so you would be able to go back to this recording. And also, can you guys pop back up the website where they need to go to so that they can start playing around with those things? That would be awesome for people to look at. And there's another question about, can we compare quarterly data within a region? So can you compare one quarter against the next quarter? I would think so, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just all a matter of playing with those filters to say, I want this time period and this time period to look.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah, just like I was rotating in those dimensions like pre-NAICS and whatnot, in that I can rotate in the quarters dimension, the time dimension, so I can see time series.
Yes.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, you guys, this is like a ton of information. I know it's come at you like full speed, right?
Right.
But please just know this recording will be added to the YouTube channel for NAWDP, so you're able to go there and grab it. And there is always the opportunity for us to do a full-blown webinar if Geoff and Ken are agreeable to that. We could do a more thorough, full-blown webinar and maybe ask you guys for some very specific kinds of data questions that you'd like to have answered. If that sounds good to folks, you can always, put a thumbs up or do something like that for us into the chat so that we can see, is that something you'd want to attend? I'm going to tell you, we've had a huge attendance at this session. Please join us for our March session. Again, it will actually be on March 23rd at the same time, same bat channel. And we will be featuring both Southeast Kansas. We saw there were numbers there, right, with Kansas. And we will also be featuring Maricopa. They're going to be doing little teaser kind of info about what they do. And then in April, we will actually have a full-blown webinar with them sharing tons and tons and tons of more information with you guys about what they've done step by step, how they make sure that it can work with a co-enrollment. I've talked to both of these places and I learned some new tips and tricks, and trust me, I'm an old dog in the workforce development arena. Okay. So with that, and I'm seeing lots of little thumbs up in our chat and stuff that you guys would like to see a longer webinar. So we will see what we can work out with Geoff and Ken to do this.
Great.
We are just thrilled to be able to bring you guys. Thank you so much for sharing this. I'm this weird kind of data geek that I need it to be easy for me to walk through. And this site is so freaking easy to just play with and work through. So please, folks, take a minute of time. Go and do that. Thank you very much for joining us today. And I hope to see all of you guys in March. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.